So when we're talking about like increasing show rate, that kind of comes back to when you're setting up the next call, like being really specific with it and putting it in their best interest as to why they want to have another conversation, right? So like getting really, it's kind of like that example from yesterday where it's like, hey man, we'll set up another 5 to 10 minute chat to kind of see where you're at. So that's one option. It's like, what, I don't know what that means though as a prospect. I have no idea what the is going on anyways. Like I'm in an outbound call. What is it going on? Like they have no context. Versus, hey man, you'll be on with, he's one of our senior guys. It'll be about 10 minutes. You guys can really just dive into more specifics of, I think you'd mentioned some of this kind of lack of sleep and low energy. And I think you said it's kind of affecting you at work. So you guys are just gonna dive in a little bit more into how that might be showing up for you, maybe offer some, some guidance or some strategies, maybe point you in the right direction, kind of see where you're at. And then ultimately just where you want to get to, like with the sleep and energy, like suppose you were able to find something that worked for you, kind of see what that looks like, man. The whole goal of this is just to make sure that we're being as helpful as possible and see if we can help you out, whatever, something like that. I mean, just like really, really tangible. So when we go to book the next call, it should only apply to that person,
right? For their specific pain points.
It only, like, if you said those words to the next person, it should make no sense to them. They should
unless,
like, what the f are you talking
unless they have
about?
The same pain, right? Because like,
of course,
like,
I know.
We only have like the same 5 or 6 pains, like sleep, anxiety, low energy.
Exactly.
I'm with you though. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Within, obviously, like within reason, but yes, that should kind of be, that's kind of the rule I have in my head at least, is like it shouldn't apply to your friend or your family. Like if you're gonna go chat with your mom, for example, and you're like, hey, 10 minutes, we'll have a quick chat, see where you're at. If you just walked up to her and said that, it would kind of apply to her.
Right.
She'd be like, okay, like what's it about though?
Right.
But like, it's so fucking vague that it kind of applies to her, which is not good.
Right.
If you go up to her and you say, hey, based on the conversation that we had, I think you'd mentioned you're kind of dealing with sleep for the last couple of years, and it's kind of spilling in the next day. I think you like, you're kind of getting frustrated at work. And I think you mentioned you're a bit worried about kind of what might happen if things stay that way. Like what we can do is just sit down with one of our senior coaches. You guys can just really dive into like where you're at, maybe what's causing that, where you want to get to, just to see if we could, possibly help with anything. Now, if you go say that to your mom, she'd be like, you got the wrong person. I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm right. So that's right. Interesting metric to use. Okay.
And then as far as like that, so like I'll ask, like they're like, yeah, just low energy, blah, blah, blah. And I'll ask, how long has it been going on? Like, can you give me some examples? As far as like day to day goes, is there anything that like that's affecting? And I haven't really got anybody that's like, yeah, man, I'm like struggling at work, or like me and the wife are getting into it. Like I haven't got that deep with anybody. And it could be just because I haven't had enough phone calls, or can I ask like more like deep diving questions? Like, what happens if you've been dealing with this for 5 years, and what happens if like you go on another 5 years like this, or that's too much in a setting call?
Yeah, too much. So,
okay.
Yeah, the nature of these conversations will be a bit more surface level already.
Yeah.
So that's cool. But it's kind of like the elevator example where you and I get in an elevator, we don't know each other. You turn to me and say, hey bro, how's your relationship with your wife or your girlfriend, whatever. I'm like, what? Versus, hey man, how's your day going? Oh, it's pretty good. How about yours? Just, we haven't built the right to say what the is really going on here at the deepest level. Yeah. They're like, fuck you. They're not going to be honest anyways.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. If you want more training like this inside of a community of more appointment setters in a bite-sized manner where you're going to be able to get all the information, you could head over to our community called Setter Central.
It's completely free. We'll drop the link below. There's 6 free training portals for you guys to dive into. So head over to settercentral.co if you have any value from this. Otherwise, keep crushing it. Peace.